You both. Did you both spend the night at Tiago's hideout location that he has?
That was the plan.
Just a modest apartment.
For lack of a better term, there feels like there's a rock in your stomach. Just one of those, when you eat something that is just way too greasy and it kind of just sits there in a ball in your stomach.
When you eat a block of cheese.
More or less. The morning, it's actually probably closer to the midday/afternoon hours. You guys were pretty exhausted when you guys finally hit the hay. And that is where we will start.
So it's, morning for us, noon for everyone else.
Well, as stated, it's more... I said morning because it's when you guys got up, but it is closer to the midday afternoon hours.
Okay.
So maybe you're pushing like 11:49.
I need coffee.
I'm gonna check some very, very empty cupboards and nothing but the best, and a very kind of like cheap supermarket own brand ground coffee.
Not even Folgers.
It's instant.
Well, I mean, caffeine is caffeine. It'll do. Get me through the rest of the day. Do a bit of work. Get some supplies. Head back out. See what I missed for the past 4 days.
And yeah, making coffee. So, what is it that you need?
Yeah, that's a difficult question. I don't exactly know. So my plan is to get some basic medicines and stuff. Nothing too exotic or expensive. Just generic stuff. And try a few things. Because I don't know what works on ghosts. I know what works on, living people with organs and blood and all that. But do ghosts have those? Does that matter to a ghost? I don't know. So I'm just trying. I'm, hands out in the dark here.
I mean, we're kind of following you on this one. Not like me, certainly. I'm sure I speak for the others. We don't know what we're doing.
I mean, there's some basis for it, I'm sure. I mean, I've seen, shows, circles of salt to keep the ghosts out. So there's some connection between material things and immaterial things like ghosts. I just need to figure out what that interaction is, and will it work with more medicinal remedies? And if not, maybe medicine is not going to work, but something else could have a similar effect as medicine,
I mean, just salt keeping them out is like, it could be anything. I don't even know where that comes from. I don't know if I've heard things like it's the power of the belief that it will work that gives it the power that it has. Just what I've heard.
There is a little truth to that. The power of the mind does have an effect on the health of the body to some extent. Stress is not good for the body, so that causes heart problems and etc. So keeping free from stress is good for your health. I don't know. Again, I don't know how that works for ghosts. I need to do. I never thought I'd say this. I need to do research, like serious research on ghosts. It's always been, medicine for me. Now it's like I gotta dig through books that my peers are gonna laugh at me for.
All those things that got written off. Who know that there might be some truth into one of them now?
They're gonna start calling me the witch doctor.
Hey, you've now got me thinking there's psychics and I don't know.
Actually, that's a thought. What if we found a witch doctor?
I mean, there's some old. Oh,
I was going to say there are most certainly witch doctors in the area.
This is Brazil.
I know a couple of guys who know guys. They like low key, but they're Santeria. Closest thing I can offer.
Okay, well, I think we should explore that avenue, at least for a bit. Find a witch doctor, and then I can try and do some research on medicines, I guess, or find some occult-ish books.
Can't hurt to try, right?
They're already dead, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, they're not going to get any worse. So just.
I know it's kind of morbid to think about, but yeah. All right, that's my plan for the day.
I will send out a couple of messages, just to couple of old friends, but the hey, just saying, hey, don't know if any of you know Santero, Santara, Santeria priest or priestess, depending on the term. Put me in touch.
You do get a couple of messages back of just confirmations that they will do what they can.
Got a couple of people asking about it. Tell Malcolm.
All right, so to the drugstore.
To the drugstore it is. Is there a specific drugstore that you're trying to hit up, or is it just any old...
Whatever's close, generic, has, the basic stuff.
The equivalent to CVS, essentially.
Yeah. Shorter receipts, though. If they give receipts at all.
Alright. I mean, that's not any sort of, head scratcher. It's not even going to take you 20 minutes, so to speak, to get there. However, of course, the issue comes down to how the hell are you actually going to get this stuff without a prescription?
Well, if it's generic, I should be able to just walk in, grab a handful of pills and pay and walk out, right?
Well, if you're going for ibuprofen and stuff like that, yes, but...
I mean, that stuff is going to be included.
So got your book?
I don't want to interject, but you'd be surprised what you could buy over the counter in not America.
There is that as well.
People go down to Mexico
Also,
over the counter
with a donation to a charity of their choice.
All right. Well, I guess you can get whatever you need here within reason.
Within reason, yeah. If necessary, I have 2 dots of resources.
I mean, how much of that? Okay, if you want to use.
Yeah, if necessary, I'm not sure of the cost, especially of. Even though I specified generic, I'm sure some generics can get expensive. I don't know, especially if I'm trying to get, prescription as a non-prescription. I don't know.
Okay, let's put it like this. If you sacrifice one temporary resource dot, you're gonna get essentially what you would classify as equivalents. So this is gonna be the actual prescription stuff that doesn't have any backlash, I think is the terminology that they use. However, if you do not sacrifice that resource dot, you're still gonna get the same types of medicines. It's unfortunately just going to have backlashes.
Or side effects, diarrhea, constipation.
No, backlashes. Specifically, I use this term because I know it's very heavily prevalent with over-the-counter inhalers. Basically, they'll work for a short time, and then the symptoms of the asthma attack come back usually worse than before.
Oh, okay.
I know that for a fact because I've tried those over-the-counter inhalers, and I ended up in the ER because of it.
Well, I don't want to send a ghost to the ER, so I'll spend a resource.
We're getting like a refuse sack of pills, aren't we? Entire resource dot on
Got a
medication.
backpack. I'm just going down the aisle with my hand along the, knocking all the pills in.
So go ahead and make the note that you are now currently sitting at 1 resource rather than 2.
Yeah, I'll make a note. Yeah.
That resource will be returned within a month, or if you do something that substantially supplements your income.
Fair enough.
Tiago, you just helping him pile stuff in that backpack?
Some things are for personal use.
This one's for pain. This one's antibacterial. This one's antiviral. This is this. This is that. Tiago, what are you grabbing? I don't.
I heard, and this is one of those things. I was about 14 from my friend's brother. He said sleep medication. If you ride through it, you get a high on the other side.
Unfortunately, at this, you do see Rose and Ishmael communicating. You get the understanding that Rose is trying to explain to Ishmael that it seems like Tiago wants to pick up some of Malcolm's nastier habits.
Trust me, it wasn't Malcolm that introduced me.
Ishmael doesn't seem nearly as concerned as Rose is on this subject.
See, he gets it. And from what I can tell in the suit, he comes from a time when doctors used to prescribe cigarettes, so I don't think he's judging.
Oh, speaking of, I need a pack.
You get a death glare from Rose.
Trust me, you will not have a good time if I don't have any.
Very much the gesture of damned if I do, damned if I don't.
Yeah. And a bottle of whiskey.
To go with all that medication.
Yeah.
At a drugstore, CVS is a liquor license.
They do here.
Yeah, that's how I'm basing my knowledge on. Here we sell the problem and the solution.
Was hey, it's here. It's like gas station kiosks always sell alcohol. It's like the one place that you should not be selling alcohol.
Gas station, yeah.
So the cashier is very, very alarmed by the amount of drugs and liquor and cigarettes that you guys have just bought.
Also for him, this community thing is an outreach program, trying to make a difference. Does she buy it?
Give me a roll.
It's kind of true.
Plus, I'll give you a +2 to the roll because it is kind of true.
It's an outreach program. It's to a certain community, just one that
they don't know. But
the reason I'm saying +2 is because that would make it more believable. But as you would say it, you would realize the insanity of what you're saying to an extent.
Okay, I am going for the. I do have dice on this roll.
Okay.
All two of them. Here we go. No.
She's not buying what you're selling, but she's ringing you up. You do get the feeling that there might be a report made just because of the sheer amount. But as soon as you actually pay and the money goes through, you feel more confident that she probably won't because, I mean, you did pay for them, so it's like...
Yeah, we're not stealing.
Yeah, so it's a little complicated for her. You can tell she's confused and conflicted on what to do.
Outreach program.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. All right, so I need to figure out what kind of effects these might have. I'll need to record it at some point because that needs to be learned. I'm just mumbling to myself at this point.
I mean, any chance that the Fran Fiona started with F. Old lady.
Oh,
In Europe.
What was her name? She was old lady from the crew, yeah?
Faye.
Faye, right?
Yeah, Faye.
Faye.
Okay. She would know more than... Well, she would know more about ghosts than me.
I mean, like this whole thing. Is there a way that we can imbue these with something, whatever, that it gives it power to that connection over life and death, whatever it is?
That is something that we need to figure out. Yes. She might know. We can give her a call. If she doesn't know, she'll know how to find out. So I'll give her a call. Ring ring.
She eventually picks up. It does take her a little bit to pick up, though.
She's an old lady. Phone's in the other room.
How can I help you today? Who called, actually?
Malcolm.
Malcolm. How can I help you, Malcolm?
Hi, Faye. Yeah, I have a question. So you may know that I'm a doctor, helping the sick. I was wondering if there was a way for physical medicines to work on the non-physical, like ghosts and such. Because, they don't like salts like that, right? So there is some connection there? Or am I just spitballing?
You sound drunk.
I mean, I had a couple, but the question was on my mind beforehand.
Yeah, no, that's not necessarily what I was meaning. You want to know if medicine affects ghosts. That's what I'm hearing, right?
That's part of the question, yes.
Part of the question.
Yes. The other part is there a way to make it so? Your stunned silence is very reassuring.
I mean, it's possible. Objects die just as much as people do. That's what all that architecture is down there, is dead pieces of architecture. Wish there was a better way to phrase that, because that just sounds loony. But it's the best way to phrase it. So, I mean, I will say there's precedent for at least non-living entities, non-living things to make it down there. They would be ephemeral, so the ghost could consume them, theoretically. But outside of consuming them for plasm and, I don't know if they would actually have any effect.
I'm wondering. I feel like someone must have asked this question before. Is there some weird exotic reference material I might be able to look in?
What makes you think anybody's ever asked this before? I need to nip that in the bud.
I'm a man of science. I ask questions as part of my job. Someone must have asked this question before. I feel like that.
Did you take us for people of science? Look at what we deal with. Science. Science has broken down a long time ago, honey.
Am I the only ghost doctor in the world?
I don't know about other bound in other countries. They certainly exist, but there's no count. It's not like, oh, there's 30 of you on the face of the planet at this moment. We don't know that. We don't have that information. Nobody does.
Exactly. That means someone could have asked this question.
Then you would have to do the digging.
Yes. So.
Because I know of no one, is what I was getting at.
Would you happen to be able to point in a direction where I could start digging?
Honey, if I did, I would have told you already when we started discussing this. Oh, hey.
Okay.
Oh, hey, I know this guy over here.
All right. So then how about turning an object into what you call ephemeral? How would I go about doing that?
Well, honey, and with that, as her voice kind of breaks off, as you can tell she's going to think again. We're going to hop over to Júlia. So, Júlia.
Yeah. So this interesting crab-clawed man has
It's not crab
eggs in his
claw,
butt.
but
I thought you said he had a crab claw.
He had a claw.
claw.
I thought it was like... Oh, maybe I just have always pictured this as a crab, but...
I don't think I've
Crab. Crab people.
I don't know if you ever, like, specifically described it, but... Anyways, whatever.
Fair enough. You can keep your mental image of a crab claw.
Julia's gonna speak up and hello, you're the sick folk, I think? Or were, or are...
I am a blessed individual. Yes?
Right, okay,
You look familiar.
I not come down this far, so...
Why don't you come into the building? It's a little dark here. I've got a fire lit inside. Let me have a better look at you.
Hold on. Let me, do the tactical let dice decide.
Tactical coin.
You're like, what does that even mean?
Hold on. Tactical resolve composure. Okay, well... I've wandered this far already, haven't I? What's one more room?
He gestures for you to follow as he goes inside what looks to be a very large, for lack of a better word here, mud hut.
I will cautiously make my way inside. I'm going to try to talk the entire way walking over there. You know, so I've just been kind of, pointed in several directions. See, I'm looking into the sickness, and
The blessed
I
end to this
suppose
world, yes.
you've all been sick down here for a while?
What is a while?
Before the dragon?
And at this point you would have entered into the building. It looks like a forge of some sort, very, very primitive forge. And then you feel like you're split in two almost, as Drifting Smith rips himself from you.
Well, there's kind of, the audible, gasp of shock of, what just happened. But, now's when you decide you want to walk yourself, huh?
As you look over at Drifting Smith, you can see he has walked over to a table and picked up one of it appears to be a stone hammer of some sort. And you get you'd be aware of, they were relatively grisly murders, so I think you might have heard of them in Brazil, the hammer murders. The way he's spinning the hammer in his hand makes you fear for the life of the individual before you, or lack thereof life.
Your existence.
Oh, you were a craftsman, weren't you?
He kind of turns around, and that's when he kind of freezes, staring at Drifting Smith, and you see that claw instinctively raise up as if it's getting ready to slash.
Hold on. We've only just started talking.
I knew you looked familiar. I forget what they called you back then, but I'm gonna make sure I shred you this time.
That's not...
He's not looking at you.
She doesn't care.
Okay. just confirming, not looking at Júlia. Júlia
Okay,
might as
but
well
we-
not exist right now.
She's going to try to de-escalate the situation. You know, the classic, okay, we can talk about this.
Okay, so fun times. If you want to try to de-escalate this, I need you to make me a roll. Otherwise, I'm doing a power finesse roll for Drifting Smith.
What role would you like?
Ooh, well, you are attempting to mediate, so I feel like you're probably going to do this through words, so manipulation and persuasion would be a good roll. Right as Drifting Smith takes a step forward, something you say makes him lower the hammer somewhat. This other individual doesn't lower his claw, but doesn't seem to be making a step forward. It's more, he's still ready to attack at a moment's notice, while Drifting Smith has somewhat backed down, though. Or at least is more unsure.
Look, I don't know what's between you two. I don't even know who you are down here in this tunnel. But now is not a time for fighting. What's that gonna achieve? You're already dead.
Will eviscerate the person that killed me.
That doesn't... You see, I was taught that people can be forgiven for past crimes. From what I understand, whatever fight you two had happened thousands of years ago? Are you even the same person now?
No, I don't have my magic. Nor does your little wannabe seem to have his magic either.
Right, I don't know what that means, but, well,
I'm one
either
of the,
way,
I
it's
was-
out of the equation, not a problem. Anyways, back to the talking thing. Let's try that again.
There's somewhat of a sneer on his face. His eyes have never left Drifting Smith, but he does walk over and yank the hammer out of Drifting Smith's hand. And begins to do some light work around the forge. Well, you wanted to talk. I'm going to work while you talk. Because if I don't hit something, I'm going to shred him.
Okay, let's de-escalate here and have a casual conversation. I just want to know where this sickness came from and what it's like. Did you find anything effective against it?
There's nothing effective against my master. The god,
Right.
the wizard gods attempted to erase him once and failed. What makes you think that anything this world could produce would be effective?
Do the mental gymnastics here, and what the hell are you talking about? Right. First of all, wizards don't exist. Second of all, I just wanted to ask a question. You don't have to give me sass about it.
He lifts up his clawed hand and he goes, "How do you think I got this?" No wrong
I
answers
take
here
a
because
couple
you're gonna
guesses.
give me a wrong answer.
But from what I've seen, this city, place, tunnel is being guarded by a giant talking grub. You having a claw is not that unusual right now.
Yes, I suppose it isn't, but I gave myself it. Little girl, magic exists and you're gonna have to get used to that thought. I mean, you're a living, breathing person, yet you're here in the Underworld.
That's a philosophical question for another day. So, you don't know anything of use for me then, do you?
What you're asking me... He thinks for a moment. You have beliefs, right? They were not uncommon in my time. We believed in deities of sorts. You have a belief, right?
Ignoring my beliefs, I believe in helping people.
That is
And-
not what my question is.
I know.
Answer my
But-
question. Because it'll make this explanation a lot simpler.
Yes, I believe in God, and that's why I'm down here trying to help people.
Alright, so imagine you have your beliefs. Your belief in... what was the word you used? God? And then all of a sudden, you come across something that is far more powerful. Whether or not you thought that could be possible or not, the fact remains it is.
Which it's not.
I thought the same thing. And then this being offers you a choice. Death or service.
Just because you got tricked doesn't mean...
Oh,
But there's-
did I get tricked? Look at the Underworld. Look at how things are getting sick. Look at how that dragon is sick. All of those things lead back to one little detail. My master is alive and well, and soon everybody on the surface up there is going to end up down here, and then that dragon, the new servant of my master, will sink everything into the ocean of fragments, and nothing will remain.
That's an incredible tale, and fortunately it's obviously wrong, but you're... Oh, this is really going nowhere, isn't it?
The person Or person is not the accurate term. The entity you search for is quite literally my master.
I'm not searching for an entity, I'm searching for a cure.
And I'm telling you, there is no cure for this. You can't cure an entity.
Diseases aren't alive. Well, okay, some... Ignoring the... You know what I mean. You cannot talk to pneumonia, you can't talk to cancer, even.
You can talk to
You
this
can't
being.
serve.
Why don't you go ask the dragon? Should the dragon be in a mood to converse?
I haven't seen it in a while, I can't.
The
How am I
dragon
supposed
might.
to find it?
That dragon might be able to take you to, well, the resting place. He rests right now, gathering strength. As soon as he's fully active.
I thought you said your little master was stronger than God. You wouldn't have to gather your strength if that was true.
See, here's the thing. He kind of lifts up his arm again. You remember how I said I did this? Whether you want to believe it or not, magic exists. And the magic that exists allow us to bend reality to our whims. And then he sighs. And he just goes, you know what? This is about as fruitful as talking to a stone, isn't it? You're not gonna get anything through that thick skull of yours.
I'm gonna look over at my Geist and see how he's doing.
He's actively, as Tordor is attempting to smith something, he's actively in competition here. You can tell he is trying to outdo him. Out of some... What you assume is, I'm not allowed to fight here. I've been told I'm not allowed to fight, but that doesn't mean I still can't beat the pants off of this guy. And you can tell as he's doing this, he has done this many a time before. Maybe not necessarily the competition, but smithing. He's probably... You would assume he did it all of his life. And he only seems to be getting better and faster, and there seems to be less confusion on his face, as if he's remembering how to do it, rather than just doing it out of natural inborn talent.
The question is now, do I want to be stupid?
Isn't the answer to that always yes?
Is there another hammer laying around?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, I'm gonna pick it up.
It's a ghost hammer, but you can still pick it up.
And you know what? I've had enough of the blasphemy. While he's not paying attention, I'm altering the no fighting rule, and I'm going to try to whack him in the back of the head.
With a stone hammer.
Yes.
So, you're gonna hit him with a rock.
On a stick.
Okay.
Look, I don't have any other weapons around.
Alright.
I can't punch you, it's not gonna go well.
Go ahead, give me that roll.
I mean, technically you're not fighting, it's just
Love tap.
Yeah. Oh, what? I actually... Wow, thanks, Dice.
Wow.
Okay. You hit him.
Success. Mission success. Let's go home.
Friend, I'm changing my voice earlier. I've had enough of him.
And with that, he retaliates before Drifting Smith is... Before the words are even out of your mouth. Before you give this command, he's going to take a swing at you. This is power plus finesse? Yes.
No!
Well, I get my defense of 3.
Okay, yeah, you get your defense of 3. As he strikes at you with his clawed hand. Funsies.
Youch.
Ouch, indeed.
As these claws, while they may be ghostly looking and everything, they shred through you with very much physical pain as, go ahead and take 4 lethal points of damage.
Okay, so here's what I would like to do, right? I would first like to look up the rules for downgrading damage with plasm, because I don't remember.
I think...
I have now found them.
Okay.
Because that's a lot of damage.
Alright, so yeah, lethal to bashing. 1 plasm per wound.
So that's 4 plasm
Yeah, so, but I can't use 4 plasm.
in a
But
turn.
what I'll do is I will make it more cinematic. And I will unlock a key to do it. Because it'll give me plasm, and I mean it's the same per turn expenditure, but
How's this work?
Yeah.
I'm double checking.
Okay.
I think you can. I thought you could unlock a key without using a haunt. I'm just trying to make sure that I can. Yes, I can. Okay.
But you
Yeah, I
immediately
gain the
get the
free
doom.
plasma and the doomed condition. I automatically get it.
Yes. What is your
So-
doomed condition?
So for cinematic effect, I'll use the key of Pyre Flame. So I gain the extreme heat tilt that lasts in spite of other environmental conditions for 10 minus synergy hours, or until the character deliberately destroys a valued personal possession.
So you're on
So,
fire.
Slightly.
You're sweating for 8 hours.
So it's 1 lethal and 3 bashing, which is still not great, but it's not 4 lethal.
So, the claws still cut into you. However, the best way you can describe it is a thick, gelatinous type of liquid, very viscous. Seeps out of the wounds and seems to seal them back shut. While it seals the most of the cuts, one of them still remains. The others are still exceedingly tender to the touch. Like, you're 100% sure you're gonna have a bruise there.
Yeah, no, it hurts.
And of course, now you have that moment of, what? Wait, what? How the hell?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm coughing to that too. Gonna, stumble backwards from that hit, and is, the internal monologue of, why the hell did I just do that?
And at this point, he is completely aware, and him and Drifting Smith are immediately entangled in a very fast and furious combat as they both dig at each other, so to speak. You get the image of 2 cats fighting, almost. And you realize that if you got in the middle of that now, you would be far more injured than you are now.
are they like actually like is this an unleashed situation? Like, is this a crisis point situation,
It's
or
not, I wouldn't say a crisis point, because I don't think a crisis point had been activated even by the amount of damage that was dealt to you.
all right? So I'll just theoretically say he's unleashed because otherwise they couldn't fight each other physically. But that's rule lawyering. I don't care.
Yeah, no, in this, yeah, he is technically unleashed in the sense that he wants to fight this guy, so he has to do that to fight this guy.
Okay, so I shall now sit here and not be able to spend plasm.
As you kind of tenderly touch your wounds. You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Geist the Sin-Eaters, 2nd edition. Marvelous City of the Dead, part of the Domain Gaming's Contagion Anthology, written and told by Wyverian. A special thanks to you, the listener. If you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcome. Until the next chapter, don't stop asking yourself, when change comes, and it will it be full of hope or tragedy?